So continuing on with the sodium channel blockers, the next drug we're going to talk about is lamotrigine. And this has another one of those dual mechanisms where it blocks the sodium channel, but it specifically inhibits the release of glutamate from glutaminergic neurons. And this drug has replaced phenobarbital, which we'll talk about towards the end of this lecture. It used to be a add-on therapy, but now it's actually quite clinically beneficial to be a monotherapy. Like other drugs in this category, it has the ability to induce the cytochrome P450 enzyme system, and this drug has the ability also to induce its own metabolism. Clinical indications include partial seizures and this Stevens-Johnson syndrome, which we'll talk about in a slide or two, I promise. Topiramate is another drug that has a similar mechanism of action. It too has replaced phenobarbital. It has a slightly different mechanism. It does affect glutamate, but specifically the AMPA receptors, but it also has the ability to enhance GABA. So there's at least 2 or 3 mechanisms involved with topiramate. This drug's indicated for focal seizures in adults as well as children, the prevention of migraines, and different subtypes of seizures that other disciplines will get into. The side effects include weight loss, somnolence, fatigue. There's a whole list of drugs that are of side effects that are associated with this drug. Okay, let's talk about the Stevens-Johnson syndrome. This is really accompanied with fever and widespread pain, skin blistering in the skin. You see it as a kind of a reddish purple rash that spreads quite rapidly. It starts with the nose, mouth, and eyes, and the genitals, and then it just kind of spreads like wildfire throughout the entire trunk, as shown here. After sometimes these rashes blister and they dry, and then you see a dramatic shedding of skin, kind of towards the tail end of this reaction. Several drugs can cause the Stevens-Johnson syndrome, some of which we've already talked about: penicillin, allopurinol, many of the COX inhibitors, including acetaminophen, which is APAP, the medical abbreviation is APAP, and ibuprofen, which is the abbreviated IBU. Several viruses can also produce the Stevens-Johnson syndrome, and those viruses, are listed there.